Hello, it's day 18 of our Jesse Tree stories. Today we're going to be introduced to someone called John. He was also known as John the Baptist. John was Jesus' cousin. Our story today takes place when both John and Jesus are a bit older, but it's a good one to show us the work that John was doing, because God had called him to take people to the local river and wash them as a way to show that God had washed them clean of all of the things that they had done wrong. In today's story, we hear about how John does that for his cousin, Jesus.
John the Baptist lived by himself in a lonely place near the River Jordan. His clothes were made from camel's hair, and he ate locusts and honey. God had given John the Baptist a special job, telling everyone to get ready because God's son was coming soon, just as God had promised. Stop doing wrong things and tell God you are sorry. Start being good today, John said. Some people were sorry and wanted to change. Those people went down to the River Jordan. John baptized them in water to show that they were going to do what was good and right from now on. Jesus went to find John by the river. He asked John to baptize him too. It wasn't because Jesus had ever done anything wrong. He was God's son, and he was always good. John said, "Don't ask me to do this. I'm not good enough even to do up your shoes." "It is the right thing for me to do," Jesus said. So John baptized Jesus in the River Jordan. As Jesus came up out of the water, God's voice could be heard saying, "This is my son. I love him so much. I am so happy with him."
That's the story of John the Baptist. So for today's Jesse Tree decoration, there's quite a number of things I could have used. One I thought about was this shell. You see, one of the symbols of John the Baptist is a scallop shell. That's because in ancient times they would have used these shells for pouring water, maybe even for drinking from if they had a large enough one, and so they became associated with water, which of course is what John the Baptist was doing. And even in some churches today, they use these when baptizing people. Saves taking them down to the river, I guess, but they fill them with water and pour the water over the person's head. So I could use a shell. But do you remember back when we had our story of Noah, I had saved a decoration? Do you remember what it was? It was this dove. Now you might be wondering, why does the dove remind me of John? Well, it doesn't say it in the story we heard today, but in the Bible it says that when God said about how Jesus was his son, something like a dove came down and rested on Jesus. So I'm going to use the dove today, I think, to remind me of that story, and I'll put that on there. But if you would like to use a scallop shell, you could download a print and colouring one from our website, or maybe find a real shell which you could add to your tree, or perhaps there's something else that might remind you of the story. Join us again tomorrow for another Jesse Tree tale. Take care.